2 years. I can't think of anything I've done for 2 years. Oh, by the way, look. If you look really closely on the hood of my car, you can see a little bit of dirt, like right there. I haven't washed my car in 2 years. Hey guys, welcome back to Baby Back Maniac. It is 2018. This is my first video of the year, and this is the 2-year anniversary of my channel, and I just wanted to say thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Honestly, I did not expect this channel to, I didn't expect anything actually. I started doing this just for fun, and now it's 2 years later, and literally I was hoping I'd have about 500 subscribers by now, and so having just passed 21,000, it's just sort of mind-blowing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, and I thought now would be a good time just to have a little talk about things that are going on around here. Got a couple of announcements. First off, I'm no longer working with the Adrenaline Barbecue Company. I'm just saying that not because anything bad happened, but just for clarity. As YouTube grew and as my responsibilities in life grew, it got to the point where honestly, I just didn't have time to do everything I want to do, and I had to make some cuts, and that was one of them. There's no drama or anything like that. I still talk to Dave just about every day, whether I want to or not. I'm just kidding, David. But it was just, it was me. I stepped back, and it's all good. It's all good. That kind of leads into some of the other things. One of the questions I get a lot is, why don't I post more often? And that's part of the reason. I'm just having a hard time managing it all. And so over Christmas, my wife and I had a big talk about what my priorities are, and real life, friends, family, and YouTube. I don't get to post as much as I would like to here, and that's what I want to do in 2018. So I've got 41 videos up now, I think 40 or 41. I hope to double that by this time next year. I don't know if I will, but that's my goal. We'll see. But I'm gonna give it a shot. So what I would suggest is, if you haven't subscribed and click the bell notification. I'm really not a schedule person. I work when I feel inspired, as far as when it comes to creating videos, because it's such a creative component to it. And if I'm not in the right mood, I'm just not in the right mood. So there may end up being a pattern where I post every Tuesday or whatever. But for now, I would just say, click the bell so you'll get the notifications, and then as I post, you'll get the notifications. Hopefully there's gonna be more of them this year, Lord willing. So that's my plan. Another announcement, I now have an Amazon store. So instead of doing links to everything that I've recommended in the description below, you can click a link to get to my Amazon store and see everything that I've recommended. And if you use that, it's a great way for you to help the channel without it costing you any extra money. So like if I do a review on something, you decide you want to take a look at it, if you use the link to my store, you can buy that, or really anything. I mean, I could put toilet paper in there. I will put toilet paper in there, and you can buy toilet paper if you want to help my channel. It'd be great help. Or anything on Amazon. It's really a great way for you to support a YouTube creator without having to pay more money than you would have otherwise for anything. So if you'll use that, I really appreciate that. Some of the other things I want to talk about have to do with user questions. I'm getting a lot of questions, which I love, because the interaction is like a lot of fun for me. But in reality, I just don't have time to be able to respond like I'd want to. I wish I could copy and paste answers, because a lot of the questions are the same that I get, but I respond individually, and sometimes I write out 3 pages and I look up and it's taken me an hour. And so what I'd like to do is do something like this more frequently, where I come on and answer some of the more frequent questions that I get. And so I'm gonna do that today, and you can let me know if this is helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know that. That would be great. One of the questions I'm getting a lot is, did I get the hinge fixed? Did the hinge fix the smoke leak problem that I talked about in my last video? And the answer is yes. Whoever replaced the hinge, they sent two guys. Actually, they sent one guy out, but two guys came to fix it, and everything is perfect. It's tip-top shape. I have no complaints whatsoever with that Summit. I'm very, very happy with it. So that just turned out awesome. So I'm really happy with that. Also, the other question is the red kettle came in. It's beautiful. It's perfect. So that's really, really exciting. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you, one of my subscribers, he goes by Lightning Bolts, sent me this. I don't know if he knew I was getting that or not, but it's a customized handle that fits on that grill. So I'm gonna put this on here in a minute, but I'm really excited about that. He asked me to mention the guy that he bought it from. His name is Brian, and he goes by, what was his name? I have it on here somewhere. At the Weber Kettle Club, his name is Zavad44, Z-A-V-A-D 44. Apparently he has a business where he makes these. And if you have like contact information on him, or Brian, if you see this, if you want to let me know where your business information is, I'll put that in the description below so people can see it. So I'm super excited about this. You did good work. I really, really like it. So that's cool. What are the other questions? One of the questions I get a lot is essentially like, even though I've answered this a couple of times in videos, do I really like the Weber Summit more than the Big Green Egg, or do I really like the Kamado Joe more than the Big Green Egg, or why don't I like the Primo? I do. First of all, let me start there. I do like the Primo. For me, the only reason I didn't comment on the Primo is because I've never owned one, so I didn't really feel comfortable, recommending something that I've never used. And the reason I don't have one is because when I went to buy one, they were in this in-between stage where they didn't really have a good stand. They hadn't come out with the new table that they have now with the stainless steel top that looks really nice. They were using the old style stands, and so the dealer I went to when I was shopping was like, he showed me a picture of a Primo tilted to the side, and he's like, well, this is what we have to offer. And I'm not gonna sell you that stand because this tilts, and soon we'll have this stainless steel one. He showed me a picture of it, but then they didn't have that in stock either. So if I would have buy the Primo at the time, I would have had to put it on cinder blocks, and I just decided to go a different route, because at that point, Kamado Joe had come out with their Divide and Conquer, which is fantastic. And so because it was bigger and because it had a stand, I just went that way. So that's the only reason I didn't recommend Primo. It's not because I hate them. And I love the fact that they're American-made company. That's pretty cool. My stance is still the same. Like, I think you'll be happy with any of those three cookers. Get the one that your gut says is the best one if you're in the market for a higher end grill. And then also, you really can't beat a 26-inch Weber kettle with the slow and sear. Like that, I think for most people who aren't looking for a higher end grill, that is the best bang for the buck in the barbecue world. So yes. So it's just one of those questions I get over and over again. And again, I don't mind answering them. I just can't. I can't answer them. I don't have time to answer everybody individually. So I'm going to double down and say that's all the new information that I've got on that stuff right now since I made those videos. I wish I could go back and edit some of those videos sometimes, but in this case, yes, I still recommend all three of them. I think you'll be happy with all three of them. I still think if you're worried about price, that the 26-inch kettle with the slow and sear is what you want. So I hope that makes sense. Another question I get quite a bit is advice on starting a YouTube channel. What advice do I have? I think there's like kind of three things. One is people always say be yourself. I'd say be the best version of yourself. Take your strengths, whatever your friends and loved ones say you're best at, and put those forward on camera. Like when I started, like I didn't have any skills. Like I didn't know how to hit record on this. Well, it wasn't this camera, it was the 70D. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to work YouTube. I didn't know anything about tripods or microphones or anything like that. You can learn all that, but the key is to be able to look the camera. First off, put your face on camera. Like, that's really, really important. People bond with people. They don't bond with food. And even though there are examples, even in the barbecue community of people who've done really well, like Larry Wolf, good example. He never puts his face on camera. White Thunder Barbecue's got a really good channel. Never puts his face on camera. But they're kind of the exceptions to the rule. And the rule is like, usually people who put their face on camera do better. Also, think in terms of telling a story. Like, what the story is like your guideline, right? It's like the road, and you're trying to stay between the roads. So no matter what your actual video is about, you need to think of it in terms of telling a story and then staying within the confines of that story. Make sure it's paced well. Make sure things aren't going on too long that don't have to. Make sure you don't have a lot of extra footage that isn't adding anything of value to your story. So even in like a video like this, my story is, this is my 2-year anniversary and there's some things I want to talk to you about. That's my story. That gives me a lot of room to work with. Whereas if I'm doing a pork butt and I stop to tell you about, advice on how to run a YouTube channel, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So kind of stay within whatever your story is, however you introduce it, tell your story and then wrap it up, if that makes sense. And then, like I said, be yourself, but be the best version of you. If you're funny, be funny. But if you're not funny, don't be funny. YouTube's a big place. Like, if you're smart, be smart. If you're informed, be informed. If you're friendly, be friendly. If you're whatever your best qualities, the ones that your friends and family think, hey, that's what you're good at. That's what you want to do for the camera. And be yourself. I mean, if you're having a bad day, don't make a video that day, because yourself is gonna be in a bad mood. You know what I mean? And so it's too easy to oversimplify that and say be yourself. Just don't be someone else. You know what I mean? Be the best version of you. Put that forward, and people will appreciate that. Remember, there's a lot of conversation out there about how to grow a channel, and you can think about the analytics. You can think about SEO, all that's important, but the most important thing really is making interesting, entertaining videos where people who could be doing anything with their time feel like they're trading their time for a good purpose by watching you. So does it suck factor? Like, are you making interesting, entertaining videos? Something of value is way more important than the analytics. Are you sticking to your story? Is it easy to follow? Are you eliminating distractions? Like right now, I'm doing this in my room. This is my office. The reason I'm doing this in my office is because it's really, really windy outside. And even though I could probably shoot it, I have a dead cat on my camera. The dead cat's a wind muff for the microphone. I could probably shoot it outside, but I'd be fighting it. I'd be cold. So I'm shooting inside to eliminate some distractions. That's really, really important, so that you're, again, like this side thing. I have a bad habit of looking at my articulating screen. I'm trying really hard to focus at the lens, and I'm better at it than I used to be. But that's a distraction. You got to work that kind of thing out. I hope that makes sense. Another question I get a lot is what kind of cameras I use. I think the most important question you should ask yourself is, how can I get the most out of the camera that I have, especially when you're starting out? So I think most people can start off with their cell phone. These are really, really good cameras. This is an iPhone, but I know the Samsung and the Pixel, those are really good cameras. Start out with that. And if you want to make an investment into improving your quality, the first thing you can do is get good lights. Like right now, I'm using daylight balanced LED lights, and it's getting a little dark outside, so it's a little harsher than I like. But the point is it's consistent lighting that's a consistent color, so that basically so that the sensitivity in the camera doesn't have to work so hard. So like if you're used to using an iPhone, just to use layman's terms, you know how when you take a shot of video at night, it gets grainy? Well, if you add more light, what causes that grain is the sensitivity of the camera being jacked up to compensate for the lack of light. If you add light that's of the same color, like consistent color, the white balance in your camera is able to make it look good, if that makes sense. And actually I've got 2 different color lights on, so listen to what I say, not to what I do. But I got that's another White Thunder barbecue piece of advice he gave me early on. If you look at his channel, everything he does looks beautiful, and that's one of his suggestions. And I'll put links to that. In fact, I'll put links to all this stuff in the Amazon store below. But the lights I use normally are right there. They're relatively cheap. Best first investment you can make, way more important than the camera. Another thing is the stabilizer. This is a Benro selfie stick that I use. I love this thing because it's fast. Like, it's got legs on the bottom, so I can set this up anywhere, extend it out, and then there's a little ball head on the end. I hope that works. Yeah, so there's a little ball head on the end where I can adjust this and kind of make it go any angle I need it to. Some sort of stabilizer is really, really important to up your YouTube game, because I mean, no matter how steady your hands are, they're gonna, to some extent, be more jerky than if you just, I mean, just if you set up a tripod in front of you, at a minimum, it frees you up to use your hands, if that makes sense, both hands. And so it's just easier to work like that. So lights, stabilizer, and then third, audio. Right now I'm using a Rode mic that's on an articulating arm, and the reason I'm doing that is because the microphone that's closest to your face is going to be the one that sounds the best. So this mic across the room is not going to sound as good as it will if you have it right here. Well, when you're talking into it, you can't always do that. If you're behind it, you can get your mouth, you know, pretty close to it. You get good audio. That's the reason why cell phones do a good job. But if you're across the room, it's not going to sound as good as if you can get the mic closer. So the way you can do that is you can either buy a lavalier mic of some sort and plug it into your phone, or plug it into an external recorder. This is a Zoom H1. I use this a lot at first. Now I go with the Rode mic and try to get it as close to me as I can. So that's why it's on an articulating arm. So that gives me another foot. So the mic is like right here, and again, you can't see it, but it's right there. That's the way to get really, really good audio and to cut out the noise from the preamps. And I'll talk about that later when I talk about the other cameras. But you can do this, and then you can sync this in post if your editing software will do that, and it will sound magnificent compared to cell phone across the room. Okay, so I thought about it and decided this is a fun chance to show off the difference lighting can make. So I've got my iPhone. It's 24 frames per second, shooting 4K. These are daylight balanced 6500 Kelvin lights. They're LED lights. This is my awful fluorescent lights. And so I'm gonna switch over to the iPhone now. Okay, and boom. All right, we are now, I'm showing you the image from the iPhone. I'm setting up this other camera so I can do something with this later. Okay, so this is what it looks like under bad fluorescent lighting, and it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad, it's just, this is the difference. All I'm gonna do is switch over to daylight balanced lights. And boom. I mean, there's just something about it that looks better to me. I can't quite explain it other than I just think it looks better. Also, while we're on the topic, this is what audio sounds like from a lavalier mic that's hooked to your shirt. And now I'm gonna switch over to the iPhone, which is right here. And as you can hear, there's a big difference. It's more echoey. It's just a different feel where it feels more across the room. Even though it's like 5 feet away, it just sounds different. One thing I wanted to tell you about, these cutting boards are from Pork Belly Woodworks. They sent me these for free. Look into one of these and you find one that you like. If you give them the code Maniac, you'll save 10%. I don't make anything off of it. It's just, I asked them for a coupon code for you guys. I love them. They're absolutely beautiful. I think you like it. The guy's name's Alex. He's a heck of a nice guy. Pork Belly Woodworks on either Facebook, probably Facebook is the best place to reach him, or they have a website, so check that out. But doesn't that steak look better like this? I think it does. I think it just makes a big difference. Maybe you don't, maybe it's not worth the trouble, but at least now, you know, you can see the difference and decide if it's worth it for you. So it's the next day. I decided I would finish this outside. It's a little nicer today. A little chilly, but the weather's nice. But anyways, I just thought that was a good example of the difference that lighting can make on a cell phone. Cell phones are great. Audio, like I'll put links to all this in the toilet paper store. Yeah, I'm calling it that. Below, this is the recorder I used. This is the lavalier I used. This is the selfie stick that I enjoy. I'll put all that in there. In addition to that, the cameras that I use, like the other cameras, this is the Canon G7X Mark II. I use this mostly for, well, that's not true. I use it a lot for traveling. Like any video where I leave the house, this has been the one I've used. So we use it on a camping video, and then the video where Troy and I went to see Mr. Smoky Goodness and check out that eclipse. Okay, pause. So here's the deal. That eclipse video was by far the best video I've ever done. I mean, it's fun, there's good editing, like there's a ton of other YouTubers in it. I mean, it was just such a blast to make, so much fun to do, and for some reason nobody ever saw it. So I'm gonna put a link to it in this corner. You gotta go check it out. Here's a preview, it'll be totally worth your time. Do you ever sometimes wonder, like when you die, what heaven's gonna be like? It's gotta be something like this, right? Totally worth a trip. Yeah. Did you get it? Did you get it?
I got it.
See? I told you. Okay, unpause. So I'll put the links to one of those there, but this is a really, really good camera. It has a flip-up screen. It has the great Canon colors. The autofocus is accurate, but it's not as fast as I would like. But all in all, I'm really happy with this camera. There's another one called the Sony RX 100 Mark V. It's actually technically, it does a lot more stuff than this one does, but this one's it's really, really good. I'm really happy with it. I like the image I get out of it, and I find it easy to use. So you know, it's just a matter of, it comes down to that a lot of the time. Like for instance, my main camera, my main shooter is this. This is the Canon 80D. I have two of these. I've tried a lot of cameras because, like I said, I used to work for a Adrenaline barbecue company, so I had money to buy gear and a reason to buy it. And so I've tried Panasonic, and I've tried Sony, and I've tried, who else have I tried? I've tried a lot of different cameras, and I end up returning them or reselling them because it's not because this is necessarily a better camera. It's just it's better for what we do. Like so, like and you know what it comes down to is an articulating screen is really, really important. A touch screen so you can set focus by touching. The fact that it has a microphone port so you can add a microphone. This is the mic I would recommend. It's just a cheap, I've said this in other videos, the cheap Takstar. It's got, you press this button and turn it on, and then you can boost the audio in the mic, and that means you can turn down the preamps in the camera, and that gets a lot of the hiss out of the video, if that makes sense. So that's every time I try another camera, I end up coming back to this because the Canon image is good. The face tracking autofocus is amazing. Like it's really, really good. Like the fact that you can, it's so customizable. Like right now, I've got the autofocus set on one area, so I can do stuff like stick this up to the camera, and you guys can see it hopefully, because if not, this is embarrassing, and then go back, and you know, it's just nice to be able to do that. The aperture's set really small on this because of the light, but so that may not have been as effective as I hope, but I'll have to go look at it. But anyways, this is just my favorite all-around camera. This is the kit lens. It's the 18-135 lens. Again, it's not that it's the best lens out there, it's just the best all-arounder that I've found. Like It's got a really good range at the 18 millimeter. This is how wide it gets, and then I can really zoom in if I need to. But also just little stuff like having in-body or image stabilization. There's no in-body stabilization in the camera, so you have to get it in the lens. This has it. A lot of Canon lenses have it, but it's not always quiet. So I've tried more expensive lenses, and they don't have a quiet. You can hear the motor humming, or the autofocus, you can hear it changing, stuff like that. This doesn't have any of those problems. So even though it's the kit lens, it's really good, like, or at least for this. So yeah, for me, this is the best all-arounder. Plus there's things about it that you can't really put on specs. Like you can't put on a spec sheet how good this feels in your hand. This grip right here, it's the right size where you can really get your hands on it. The camera's a good solid, like, it feels solid in your hand. I'm not worried about dropping it, you know. I like that I can flip this screen around and see myself and then flip back, or if I'm gonna take a shot from down low, I can do this, or above I can do this, or whatever I'm doing, and then I can flip it around backwards, and it's plastic back here, and so I don't have to worry about breaking the lens, and it never overheats, and it's just a really good all-around camera. Even though on the specs there's nothing about it that, like, there's like the Panasonic GH5 is a much better camera by any stretch, but the truth is most people that use Panasonic GH5 don't need the autofocus, because you don't trust autofocus when you're making commercial shoots, because the camera may make a mistake. Well, this one may make a mistake, but it's really rare, so you can trust it, and that's really nice. So yeah, so that's my camera gear. I hope that's helpful. Oh, I got a new kettle. I got this the other day. It's a 1997 red Weber Performer. It just happened to show up on Amazon Marketplace. So that'll be in my next video, which will be out soon. So I just wanted to sit down and talk with you guys. I hope this was interesting. I hope this was helpful. I may do this from time to time because I like talking about stuff and just talking to you guys. And it gives me a chance to kind of, you know, just be myself. You know, the only time I really do this usually is when I'm with Troy and we do his Thursday chat, and I really like doing that with him because it's fun to just kind of talk. So sorry this is long. 2018 I think is going to be a really fun year. I hope you subscribe. I hope you hit that bell so you get the notifications, and I'll do my best to make it worth your time. So love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Just snoring like crazy. Houston, you're snoring. Do you feel bad about it? I don't think you feel bad about it. Anyways.